Hello students, today we are going to start with our unit number 5, transmission line. Till unit number 4 we have gone through the electrodynamic field, Maxwell's equation, and we have understood that Maxwell's equations are applicable for wave propagation. The wave propagation can be through a guided media or can be through a open medium or unguided media. So let's talk about the propagation of a wave through the guided media. So the transmission line is one of the guided media where waves are transmitted from source to the destination. But what are the basic characteristics of the transmission line that one must know so that the transmission of the information or electromagnetic wave is possible through this particular transmission line that we are going to see. So what are the things we are going to see? Line parameter, the parameters, these are the contents. I will not read all the contents, as and when required I will just give stress on, but our first focus will be on the parameters of the transmission line, that how the lines are transmission lines are characterized depending on the electrical properties and depending on lump properties or distributed properties that we are going to see, along with the skein effect. Whenever I am talking about transmission line, there will be definitely one conductor who is carrying a current. There will be electric field associated with it. Since current is associated, there must be a magnetic field associated with it, and how these electromagnetic waves are penetrated in the conductor, the skein depth or skein effect that we are going to see. Then general solution of a transmission line and physical significance of this equation. So our main focus will be on these line parameters, skein effect, general solution, physical significance of the transmission line, and then wavelength, velocity of propagation. Okay, and from this point onward we will continue in the from the next session onward, that distortionless line. What is mean by distortionless, lossless, what is the difference, and what is Z0 characteristic impedance, that we will look after. But right now our main focus is on what is exactly transmission line and what exactly it indicates when a transmission line word come to your mind. So it's another mean of transmitting power or information is by guided structure. We know already one the information can be carried by using unguided media like wave propagation that we have studied in unit number 6, and this is now the means of transmitting power information by the guided structure. There are two types of the guided structure. So guided structure serves to guide, that is to or direct the propagation of energy from source to the load. Typical examples of such structures are transmission lines and waveguide. Waveguide, you might come across this study of waveguides when you come to a BE in the microwave engineering. These things will be taught to you in detail, what exactly waveguides are, what are the different types of waveguide, and how the electromagnetic waves are propagated through different modes that we will see. But right now this is not the point for discussion. So typical examples of the guided structure are transmission line and waveguide. Our more focus in this particular thing will be on transmission line. The transmission lines are commonly used in power distribution. Even you might have gone through those power distribution lines from where, let's say, power is means electricity is prepared at a Nashik end or Chandrapur, and from that point the electricity come to our home. So there must be certain distance they travel through the guided media. So the power is being transferred through the transmission line, or it is called as a power distribution. So transmission lines are commonly used in the power distribution also at lower frequencies. If someone asks you what is the frequency of electricity, 230 volt, you say 230 volt 50 hertz, so it's a low frequency. So if it is a low frequency, it can be used for long distance communication and in communications at high frequency, because whenever I am talking about 3G, 5G, 4G, then whenever I am talking about Wi-Fi, hotspot, Bluetooth, anything, they are operating in terms of gigahertz. So just 50 hertz to 2.45 gigahertz. So this transmission line also carry this information at higher frequencies, and we say that transmission lines are used for communication. Okay, then we'll see a transmission line is basically consists of two or more parallel conductors and used to connect source to a load. So if a transmission line structure comes to your mind, it is just a two wire transmission line. It may be a twisted pair cable which is used to connect a bulb to a switch, something like that. A source may be a hydraulic generator, a transmitter or oscillator. Load may be a factory or antenna or an oscilloscope respectively. So source may be a hydroelectric generator, it may be any transmitter or an oscillator. and load may be a antenna or oscilloscope, etc. Typical transmission line include, what are the difficult transmission line you might have come across? A coaxial cable. Have you seen this coaxial cable? It is a cable which is connecting your set-top box to a TV. You just go through the connections and those things. Your set-top box with your dish, which is a dish antenna. So it is a coaxial cable which is carrying a central inner conductor, which is surrounded by its sheath, and then finally the outer conductor or a ground conductor through which these signals are propagated through satellite. So all these things, this is not the part we discuss right now, but it is a kind of a coaxial cable. Another example of coaxial cable, you are connecting a function generator to a CRO. Okay, so this is also one kind of a coaxial cable. Then two wire line, you might have observed this n number of times. It's a twisted pair, straight wire, parallel conductor. So two wires transmission line. Then parallel plate or planar line. So we are going to see those diagrams in the next slide. A wire above conducting plane and microstrip line. These microstrip line, these things are very useful whenever we are talking about antenna structure. These things play a very important role. So see, these are the structures. If you can see, this is a coaxial cable with this inner conductor and this is outer conductor. Okay, in between them we have a non-conducting material. It is called as dielectric, which separates these two conductors. Then it is a parallel wire, two wire transmission line, and this is a third kind of a structure, C kind of a structure. It is a parallel plate planar line. So this is a parallel plate planar line. Then this is a conducting rod on the conducting plate, something like this. So it is my mistake, yes, somewhere like this. So it is wire above a conducting plane, and finally microstrip line. So this is a microstrip line. From here, see, if microstrip line, these kind of antennas are nowadays used in the mobile phone even. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give a current through this down conductor, and through the mutual coupling it will be coupled into the outer top conductor, and from that those fringing fields will be radiated, and we say that the antenna starts radiating. This is also kind of a transmission line. It is called as a microstrip line. Micro means very small, strip means it is kind of a strip line. So it is used as a microwave frequencies. So its name is microstrip line. So these are some of the basics of transmission line. Now we'll concentrate on transmission line parameters. See, this is important question in the examination point of view. Someone may definitely ask you what are the different transmission line parameter. A question can be asked for 6 or 8 marks. So what are different transmission line parameters? Explain in detail. So these things we are going to discuss right now. It is customary to and convenient to describe a transmission line in terms of line parameters. So these are called as the line parameters or transmission line parameter, which are resistance per unit length, inductance per unit length, conductance per unit length, and capacitance per unit length. Why I want to say something like that? First of all, I will go take you to the diagram, and then we will come back. See, this is a structure of a transmission line. This is a first conductor or conductor number 1. This is conductor number 2. If someone asks you what is the resistance of this transmission line, you definitely ask a question, what is the length of a transmission line? See, if this is a infinitely long transmission line, I cannot measure a resistance at this point. I cannot measure a resistance at this point. I can measure, but I cannot exactly predict. But you will definitely ask me, if someone gives me, okay, this much is the section of a transmission line, now you tell me how much is the resistance. Then you can apply your electrical theory concepts, and you can definitely tell this much should be the resistance. Similarly, if you are talking about inductance, capacitance, or conductance, in that case you can tell only if length is known. What I mean to say, the parameters in the transmission line are distributed parameters. They are not lumped parameter. Now, what is the basic difference between lump parameter and the distributed parameter? Let's take an example. I have a resistance of 1 ohm. Okay, so wherever I go, this resistance 1 ohm will remain same. Yes or no? It depends on the material's properties, its length and area of cross section, all these things, you know, rho L by A, something like this, but this resistance will remain same. So whenever I am talking about there are two theory approaches actually. So it is a field theory approach and circuit theory approach. So in the field theory approach, these things you need to consider: a transmission line, so the wavelength, when wavelength increases, wavelength decreases, what are the things or what are the approaches that you should apply. This is something different part. This is not the point to be discussed right now, but just compare this single resistance with this transmission line resistance. They are different. So these resistance or these values RLGC depends on length, or they are length dependent. If someone asks you, you should definitely ask what is the length of transmission line, then only I can tell this resistance or capacitance or whatever the parameter. So you cannot say directly it is 1 ohm. Let's say this is a transmission line and I have certain value of, let's say 100 ohm is the resistance of transmission line. You should always tell it is 100 ohm per meter. So if you have given a transmission line of length 1 meter, the resistance will be 100 ohm definitely, because 100 ohm per meter into 1 meter, meter cancel, it is 100 ohm. If it is of 2 meter, you will definitely tell for the section of a 2 meter length transmission line, the resistance is 200 ohms, something like that. So the parameter, transmission line parameters are not lumped one, they are distributed over the length of the transmission line. So if I measure it, if I want to measure this resistance, I must know the length. Then if it is distributed over a length, you need to calculate. You cannot say at this particular point the resistance of a transmission line is 1 ohm. No, you should say for this line of a section, for 1 meter line of a section, for 10 centimeter line of a section, this should be the resistance. That's it. Okay, so these distributed parameters and details about that and some of the features we'll discuss in the next lecture. So till then, thank you very much and happy learning.